Welcome back, everybody. Here we're going to be looking at East. And East is a very beautiful area in terms of movement. But the first thing we have to do is, because we collect our 12 bits in North, we are going to collect the chain dash upgrade. So all you have to do is hold down E, I'm pressing nothing else, and boom, we have the chain dash upgrade. Then close out of the shop. But before we exit the shop, which is what you do normally in a speedrun, I'm going to talk about chain dash mechanics. The first thing to know about chain dash mechanics is before we got this upgrade, this was all we could do, right? Just spamming the dash button to chain together these this very slow 3-dash chain. However, with chain dash, it gives us the potential to infinitely chain dashes together as long as we don't run out of stamina. So now you'll notice this white stamina bar in the top right. And with this special area, I am refilling on dashes, but this thing that refills the stamina doesn't exist outside of this area. That being said, though, for the purpose of the speedrun, dashes of 2 are going to be your best friend. And there's a couple of reasons. The first one is that when you do a chain of 3 or more, you unlock the perk of bonking. What bonking is when you dash 3 or more times and run into a wall, you end up whacking the wall, losing control of the drifter, and losing a good portion of time. So you want to sort of limit the amount of bonks you're going to want to do. However, with chains of 2 dashes, you'll notice that I don't bonk against walls. But the moment I start doing 3 or more, you will be able to bonk into walls. So want to be very, very careful of that. Next is whenever you do a chain of 4 or more, you will slide at the end of it. And just with bonking, you lose control of the drifter, and so this is really something you want to avoid as well. However, you can bypass a slide by bonking into a wall, and in fact, I do use this at one part in the run in South, but we won't talk about it until we reach that point. But you just want to make sure you limit that. But with chains of 3 or 2, you will not end up sliding, and so this is going to be the majority of our movement. Also, sort of how we did dash resets with the slow chain dash, right? Where we hit a ledge without falling off of it, and the game gives us like a lot of handicap and forgiveness with this. That handicap gets removed, so it becomes way easier to fall off ledges, take that 1 damage, but more importantly, lose a lot of time every single time you fall off a ledge. So you want to be very, very careful with chain dash in locations, and East is going to be a very beautiful shower of this, right? So without further ado, let's go through, right? So this is the first place that I want to do 2 dashes, right? Because if I don't get across these boxes, I can bonk, right? And there, I can safely do 3, and then where you want to do 4 or more dashes, right, where the slide gets canceled out, is either if your dash gets reset, or if you transition into another zone, or if you can activate an elevator. Because while you're sliding, you can open doors and activate elevators. Right? Whoops. So here is a backup medkit you can get if you take any damage here. Right? And so that is a very nice thing to keep in mind. Right? Okay, awesome. Right? So you can see lots of broken pathways. And there, right, normally if I was doing a slow dash, I would end up at this ledge and get a dash reset. But because I was doing chain dash, right, very unforgiving. Very unforgiving. And so you sort of like come up with your own patterns and stuff with how you want to move through. So coming through here is going to be an elevator that, once again, while activating the elevator, you can heal during that. Same thing with opening doors. And normally with this section, you can do a full chain dash through, but I'm not very good at the movement in this game. So I like to do a 3 dash to end up here. And then do a full chain through here. And coughing, actually, I forgot to mention, is another way that you can stop the slide effect. Right? And then it's just a bunch of chain dashes of 2 to get to this first module. And then here we're going to pause, unpause to skip the game from forcefully opening the menu, excuse me. Right? Chains of 2 and 3, chains of 2 and 3, 2 and 3. It is your best friend. So here's a case where I'm going to attempt to do a full chain dash because we get a dash reset, which ends up eliminating the chain. It resets it back to 0. Right? And so there, you saw I didn't slide when I got over here. So here's the waypoint, and we never collect it. What if you've taken damage and you want to play it a little safe? Guess what? Free full heal. Boom. Just waste a little bit of time getting. And then there is a full chain dash again. Nice. Cool. And that's like a large part of the movement in East. So now that we've sort of like talked about chain dashing and gone through in excruciating detail the things we want to think about, let's get into some fighting. Oops. So there, while activating this button, you can do sword slashes and fire your pistol, which is very, very useful. So here I'm going to aim my mouse here to be able to kill this guy. Now, when these big guys start dashing towards you, they become invulnerable. So it's very, very important right after they spawn to kill them as quickly as possible. So we do that by doing 3 points. So here's a section where you want to take a little slower, because it can be very, very tricky to get through there. Very, very tricky. So there's the second module. And taking no damage there is very, very good. That's very, very fast. That being said, though, let's talk about some safety medkits. So we have to activate this to open up these blocks to open up the elevator. But there's going to be 3 safety medkits all around here. So if you are not full on health or medkits, I highly suggest considering these. And each of these is going to be in order of slowest to quickest to grab. So this one is the slowest here, up into this corner. So if you're really low on medkits, this is an excellent medkit to pick up. And I picked this medkit up before I activate the chain, before I get the module. So you can just do 2 dashes, get that, activate module, activate switch, right? Then here is the mid-range one. It's just a little bit out of the way. And then you can do 3 dashes from that to get here. And then here is the third medkit, which is the quickest to grab. And I highly suggest having full medkits and full health going into this fight here. Here's just another arena fight. I use 2 pistol shots there, and then 3 plinks here on this guy. And then I dash up here to this guy that's going to spawn. And then this guy also spawned. And then last big enemy here. I'm going to try and dash away. Uh-oh. Right after I kill him. And there I messed up. I missed one of my plinks. So as you saw, missing a plink is actually a pretty substantial time loss, right? Because we can only sword slash in groups of 3. Once again, if you've lost any health here, an oh shit medkit is up here. You want to make sure that you're at full health. So while activating this door, after you open it, you can grab this medkit and then make it back through this door. And this door can only be opened from that key that we collected in North. That being said, normally you just walk up and around here, but you can actually kill this guy, and then when he's dead, his hitbox is no longer in the way, so you can dash there. So this part can be very scary, and so I almost always collect that medkit. But if you're some sort of god at this game and don't take any damage getting there, boom, you can go ahead and skip that medkit. But now that we have our third module, this is probably the scariest portion of movement in the game for me. So all of these torches are going to be on the same cycle. So I'm going to try and get past these enemies in a very specific timing. And there, that dash there, just like with explained in North, you cannot dash through an enemy. And so if he's on the ledge there, he can actually box you out and make you fall off. But getting through there with taking that little damage is pretty impressive. Then if you want to heal there during that door, you can, but I usually don't heal at this door. Because there's a potential to take some fall damage up in this upcoming area. But here it's just movement until we get to the 3 module door. So we dash once to activate this cutscene. And then I dash up and a little left with 2 dashes. So here I'm going to do a 3 dash to get over to this ledge, and then a 2 dash to get up to the 10. Right, so there's the 3 dash, and then a 2 dash so I don't bonk into this 10. And then I walk up here to this corner. And that allows me to do a full dash chain through that scene. And then here is opening the 3 module door. So 3 dash and then a 2 dash to this door. And there another sword slash to get us through that door a little bit quicker. And then here is a forced cutscene. I'm going to dash straight up over. And then a bunch of 2 dashes to get through. And then here I use 2 pistol shots to kill that last enemy because he's really far away. And then you can continue through as normal. So it's totally okay to use groupings of 2 to 3 to get through there. But just know you can do a full chain dash there. So up here we have to get around past like this line or something to spawn the enemies in this area. And so you can sort of do this fight as you want. I like to activate these bushes first to come chase after me, but I know some people like to take out the frogs first because they can be really annoying. And then it's just a full chain dash there, and then we're going to aim up. And then 1, 2. Oh, I bonked 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ta-da! And then here. So I'm like low on energy, but this section is going to be pretty slow because I'm going to be paced by these opening doors here. As you can see, that last one opened pretty slowly. Then with this one, we only have to kill off a certain list of enemies. Then the last 2 enemies we have to kill is this like alchemist and that little green guy. You don't have to kill that frog or any of the little green plant monsters that spawn. Then coming through here, we're going to start the boss. You do not need full health for this boss, but I highly suggest having at least 3 health for safety. So with this boss, it's very simple. I'm just going to dash right in, and we're going to go into one of 2 spots. You can either go to this spot here, which is the one I like to do, and I do that by doing 2 dashes. And then you'll notice that he can no longer hurt us. And he's stuck on this infinite loop of slamming his fist. If you're too high, he'll start throwing potions again, which is really, really bad. And then if you're too low, which I'll show, he will end up hitting you and then throw a potion. So you want to make sure that you're within a range. And if you're aimed down while plinking, you'll start sliding downwards. And then it's just groups of 3 points. You want to make sure that you don't miss any plinks on this fight, and that is the, besides the boss hitting you, missing plinks is the biggest time loss. So you want to make sure that you hit all of your plinks. And then here's the pylon, but don't forget, because we haven't collected our 4th module yet. Right? So we've gotten the pylon in 3 modules, but we need to collect the 4th module. We're also going to be collecting the shotgun. And there, the game forcefully opening your map, very, very hard to skip, so don't worry if you miss that. And here's the shotgun, which is arguably the most powerful weapon in the entire game. That being said, though, we'll talk about the shotgun in West. But here's the last module, and just like with the pylon that we got at the end of North, we're going to activate this and teleport out. But this timing is a lot less forgiving. So make sure you make this. Make sure you make this. If you miss this, a backup, once again, is to quit out of the game and reopen the game. Either by Alt F4ing or by opening and quitting to the main menu and then backing out. However, if you're able to teleport out there, you both skip the cutscene and both teleport back to the starting area as quickly as possible. And now this concludes East. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you for the next guide, which will be going over West. Yes.